Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here, and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. This time it's a vintage kit, the Lindberg line Me-163 Komet in 1/72 scale. So join me as I take a look inside the box and see what we've got. So starting off on the front, we can see that this is evidently a vintage kit. It has suffered a little bit of damage on the box here, but generally it looks to be pretty intact. So on the front, we've got this artwork of the Me-163 as it's taking off. You can see its detachable wheels there have fallen away. Up here we've got a price tag of £6, which is what I paid for this when I was at the model show. Down here it tells us it's an authentic 1/72 scale plastic construction kit, and I've heard various things about Lindberg line, and I'll be interested to see what we've got inside of here. On the long edge then, we have the same information as on the front. It tells us that it was made in the USA. On the other long edge, it tells us exactly where it was made, in Illinois. On the back, we have an advert for some more Lindberg line kits, such as the 162, an FW190, and a HE100, and a copyright date of 1965. Over here, it tells us we need to use Lindberg plastic cement for the finest assembly. I will probably use different cement, and instructions are in English, but it also says that it's in German, French, and Spanish, but in the relevant languages. Short edges, we have a kit number of 43439, and that's the same on both sides. So let's open the box up and see what we've got. So everything's been packed in some Ziploc bags so that we don't lose anything. So let's just get everything out nice and quick and see what we have inside of them. So starting off as usual, the instructions. Let's take a look. Oh, a tiny little sheet of transfers. Let's put them to one side. So we have, it's not quite A4. It's sort of in between A4 and A5. This is printed in the USA, but it's all black and white, as I'm sure was the style at the time. But a new full colour catalogue is available apparently. So I don't think that I will be able to send off 15 cents in coins to Lindberg products and get that full colour catalogue, but I suppose we never know. And it says here it's 1/72 scale, and we've got our display stand included, which is always nice. This doesn't look quite like an image, like a photograph. It looks like a photograph that's been colorized and then black and white. Yeah, not sure if that's an assembled model or an artist's impression of it. But anyway, coming on down, we've got in different languages information about the Me-163 being a rocket plane that was used by Germany, and then flipping over we've got our assembly instructions. So again, they're in different languages here in different fonts, and this on the left is just telling you to do things in stages, and then here are the images of you doing it. And actually the images are quite nice. They're quite a bit artistic, but easy to follow. I particularly like down here, it says that if you want to have the gear in its retracted position, so that's the skid, you need to glue it all the way in and ignore the wheels, because it didn't have the wheels when it was flying and the skid was retractable. However, it's worth noting, it does say down the bottom, see finished picture for decal locations. And this is all the paperwork that we've got, and I have actually looked online, and it would seem that there are no decal placement or painting instructions for the model. You have to use the images on here and the artwork to finish the kit off. So if you were in 1965, you'd have to probably go and do some research at a library or something to find out how perhaps these aircraft were painted, because it wasn't the day and age you could just look something up. It's it makes it a little bit more challenging, I think. So that's the instructions. Let's take a look at the transfers, and you can see that they have yellowed quite horrifically. Generally, the printing is not too bad, but you can see on these crosses here that the registration of the black on the white is pretty off. They're pushed over to the right hand side, so it's not fantastic. These transfers may still work, but in their current states they're not particularly usable. I'd probably have to either manufacture some of my own or get some aftermarket decals, because these aren't particularly good. The alternative, of course, is to use these but leave them out in the sun to try and get rid of the yellowing on there. The ultraviolet light should hopefully bleach them back to being clear, or as clear as we can get them. But yeah, I'm sure in the old days, in the 60s, when this was manufactured, these were really good, but now not so good. So moving on then to the plastic parts. So in my handy little Ziploc bag, we can see some of them are a bit loose, but there aren't that many parts to this kit. We've got 1, 2, 3 loose parts and then 2 tiny little bits of sprue, as it were. Let's take a look at this first. So this is our display stand, Me-163, moulded on there, so you know which kit it was for. There's the arm for it, and then we've got 2 wheels for your landing gear. Tiny little bit of flash in places, but the detail on that, on the wheels in particular, is alright, it's not too bad. Coming on to the other sprue then, bit of flash there, but that's not a big deal. This is a part for the landing gear. We've got our cockpit chair with a massive mould seam down it, but you know, that's something that we can overcome. There's the skid, looks alright apart from a bit of flash. And then the pilot, and that's not a bad looking pilot. I've seen worse. Bit of a mould seam down there, ejector pin mark on the back, and a bit of flash, so it'll need a bit of cleaning up. But generally, that's quite a good looking pilot for the age of the tooling. Yeah, definitely usable. So what else have we got? Tail surface and a nice ejector pin mark there. Right there, nice ejector pin mark that will need cleaning up. Details are recessed for your markation on the moving surface, but then everything else, all the rivets, quite a lot of rivets on that, they're all raised, but it's quite crisply moulded. That's not bad. It's not bad detail on there at all. And then we have our 2 halves of our aircraft. So not much to this kit. A little bit of a sink mark on the edges there where the ejector pins potentially, or are they locating? Yeah, they're locating points for the other side. There you go. That bit there goes into that hole there. So a little bit of a sink mark on the other side, but not too bad. Plastic is very smooth. It doesn't feel greasy, but it might benefit from a primer to help paint stick to it. The details are nice and crisp, but they are raised. Interestingly, if you look on the box, you can see we've got little windows here at the back for the pilot to look out of. On here, they're not clear parts, they're just moulded representation. So we'll probably have to paint them black just to cover that off. Yeah, not bad on that bit. And then on the other side, again, same sort of deal. Raised rivets, raised panel lines, a little bit of recessed detail in a few places, but pretty good looking kit. These are in half already, so let's put them together and see what the join's like. So using the locator pins on there to get it in snap in place, that join is actually pretty good. It's slightly off, ever so slightly on one side. This side has got a slight lip to it, but it's pretty good on that side. So yeah, that's not bad. That will build into a perfectly acceptable model. Like, I've almost finished it in the video look. That's going to be pretty much it. That's not bad. I like that. Have I got a clear part? Yes, I do have a clear part. It's still in the plastic bag. So let's get that out. And here it is. Yeah, not bad. There is some detail around the frame on the bottom and on the back. So it will need potentially masking up and giving a good paint. Bit of plastic there that just needs a little bit of sanding away. There are some scratches, bits of loose plastic there. Yeah, so I don't know if it would have come from the factory with those scratches on, or if that's something that it's got over the years. But yeah, you could polish them out if you were that fussed. I probably won't bother. So yeah, kit looks complete. Not bad. Moulding is surprising. I'd heard bad things about Lindberg. People, well, who I've spoken to in the past would say that they weren't particularly good kits. But this doesn't look bad at all, especially given its age. Very crisp in a lot of places, especially with the detail. I think it'd make a good airbrush practice with that mottled camouflage on the fuselage. That would be an interesting scheme to go for. Now that I'm looking at the box though, that there may be one part missing from this kit, and it's the tail wheel here to go in the hole in the bottom. I can't see it on the sprues, so it may have got misplaced over the years, but that's not a massive issue. I may be able to find something suitable from the spares box, which is basically just a wheel, you know, like a Hurricane wheel or something might go well on there. Or alternatively, I could potentially design and print an alternative if my modelling skills are up to it. So yeah, one small part missing, which I can overcome. Plastic is pretty good. Mold quality is decent. Transfers, nah, they'll need some saving or aftermarkets. And then instructions are moderately easy to follow, but there's no colour, and there's also no painting instructions on there, so you're going to have to use your own research or go off the box artwork. So let's talk a little bit about the history of this kit. This would appear to be the original 1965 release of the model. Since 1965 it has appeared in a couple of different ranges, and it has been released periodically all the way, as far as I can tell, up to 2012. So if you wanted a kit, or this kit, there does seem to be different boxings of it out there available for purchase. Talking about the price, £6 for this, not too bad. I did do a look online, and the second-hand market, they seem to be selling this particular vintage for around £20 to £25, which does seem to be an excessive amount of money for what you're getting inside the box. But, you know, as I always say with vintage kits, it depends on the value that it has to the purchaser. I like to buy them in order to build them and help them meet their destiny of being completed. However, other people like to keep them and collect them for posterity, so the value there is different. But yeah, I'm thinking of using this as an airbrush test model to have a go at this complicated modelling on the fuselage. The small details, I may need to find something for that. Didn't notice a little electricity generator propeller that goes on the front, so again I might need to find something for that as well, or maybe design and print something. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you thought of my assessment of this vintage kit, and if you agree with my opinions. If you enjoyed this one, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. And as always, a massive thank you to my patrons and channel members for the extra support they give my channel. Thanks to these guys on screen. If you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description to find out how you can get involved. There are other ways which you can support the channel as well. Again, full details are down in the description box. However though, one good way to support the channel for free is to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally, the last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.